back to we may be live now. I don't know.
Okay.
It says loading. The title's going to be wrong until I fix it regardless. But I don't know if you've watched any of my live streams, they often start like this. Like, what's going on? What's this green dot?
It says you're live, and it has a picture of me in the thing.
Oh, you can see that? All right.
So
well, for me, it just says
well, I
loading.
refreshed your YouTube channel page, and I can see that there's a picture of you and me there.
Okay.
We're talking, it looks like.
Good. So if anyone's watching, I can't see that right now because my thing's loading. Apparently the problem I'm gathering is this is the first time I've actually used a Google Hangouts video to do kind of multiple people on a live stream. So I guess it's my hardware must need updated. But yeah, I'm with my campaign manager and friend Tom Kennedy. You want to say hi, Tom?
Hi.
You want to? While I'm setting this up, you want to just tell me a little about what you do and maybe why you decided to work with me here?
Sure. Well, I'm a software engineer. I've been doing that for 12 years, ever since I graduated from Clarion University, where I met Rob, where he and I, my freshman and sophomore years, partners. We won the Liberty Tournament in my freshman year, and I guess your second year.
Yep.
Yeah. And so the reason I'm a fan of you for this, well, number one, I've known you for a long time. Also, basically, I am on board with civility that you preach, and also the facts that we want to, have an open conversation with individuals and things like that. Even if you don't agree with them, I know that you specifically are better at that than a lot of people, and you would. I trust that you, as if you were a congressman, you would definitely listen to your constituents, which I feel like is something that probably half the country doesn't get listened to, even no matter which district they're in, because if they're in the minority, they're basically not listened to anymore. In most districts, I would guess.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the first things that I thought of when I was running was like. It seems like the easiest way to look at it's like the national level, like Hillary versus Trump or whatever. And it was like, do you really feel like if you were one of the people that didn't vote for that candidate then, if they won, was going to look out for you? And I think in most cases not. I wanted to consciously say, look, I believe my positions, I'm being as transparent as possible, which is one of the things we'll talk about. But if you're elected, you don't just represent the people that voted for you. I mean, right out of the gate, the majority of people that can vote don't. And you're still representing them, and you're still representing the people that voted against you. And, I was just talking to someone on the phone. There's a reason that the First Amendment has to do with free speech. Because our founding fathers knew, now it seems obvious. The Declaration of Independence, how wise, the Constitution, how wise. But that was because they're sitting in a stuffy room for 40 days basically screaming at each other, and They understood you need to respect, you need to listen to people who disagree with you. And I think that, right now our country's okay. There's certainly problems, but economically we're okay. And look at how uncivil things are. So what's going to happen when the average person has trouble paying their mortgage or, the price of eggs and milk double? If we can't get along now, so I think now is the time to try to set the tone to be like, look, we need to be actively trying to work together. That doesn't mean, I'm going to sell out the people that voted for me in my positions. Not at all. I'll advocate for them as strongly as possible. But there's a way to do it civilly,
Right. I agree.
So, yeah, so we kind of got into this. I'm glad you helped out because what I lack, you're very good at. That's like the technical planning and things like that. If there's a fault of mine, there's certainly many faults, but one of the faults of mine is sometimes I'm too off the cuff. I'm not a planner. And so I do have a plan and I come up with it, but it's very loose. And you've been very good for me being like, this is what we need to do today. Here's, we outline these plans. We set up PowerPoints. We set up plans for each day what to do. And I think that's really helping us get a lot accomplished.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. And you're better at speaking to people and getting your Republican. I think we're a good team. You're better at, you're really good at expressing your positions and all that kind of stuff, and you form them over time and everything. I think we're doing a very good job for people that haven't done this before.
Yeah, me too. And that's one of the things that, like, I want to let people know that they might not know. Like, particularly if you're one of the conferees or someone that would be watching this, or anyone that's gotten any of the things we've written. Like, we don't have a team. It's me and you. Like, that's it. Mm-hmm. And we have full-time jobs, and we have, like, family obligations as well, and we're still able to accomplish this. And you might say, well, how? Well, maybe it's the debate etiquette we had. We're up until 2 a.m. We had one conferee email us a list of particular questions. We're up until, and he correctly says, look, I think it's important to be, timely with resubmitting these questions. So we said, okay, it's 10:30. We'll put as much effort and time into it. And, we submitted it at 1:30 in the morning. It drains on you because then you're going to work the next day or whatever. But I think that, that's what it'll be like to be in Congress, right? There's not going to be days off. It's not going to be, and I think that, like, some of these people, I kind of chuckled about this. I was like, because I'm for term limits, and I'm thinking, like, let's say you've been there, like, 24, 25 years or something like that. Like, if you're working this hard every day, you'd be burned out, right?
I don't think you could work this hard every day.
Well, that's just it, You could look up, like, half the politicians, it's like, oh, they don't attend half the meetings. We need longer vacations, they say.
They might even get into it with the best of intentions.
Exactly.
And then it's just that they're there for so long that they're just like, whatever, I just need to get a bunch of money so I can win again, and I don't really care.
Right.
What happens other than that.
Hey, real quick, do you have the YouTube live stream up on your channel?
I closed it because my computer was slow.
It says one person's watching. I didn't know if it was you or if it's someone else.
I don't think
it's so choppy on my end. I hope it's not choppy for the people that are watching. I'm just typing. That if anyone's watching, to please let me know if the quality is no good. Because I don't know, they might, if they're seeing as choppy as I am, it's going to be worthless for them. If that's the case, we'll figure it out. If that's the case, then we'll just film not live and put it up. I'm fine with that. But we'll give it some minutes and see what happens here. I'm not too worried about it. Most of the time, I mean, look, I am reaching a lot of people, but I usually get more people to watch my videos after they're live, because you have to figure, like, what are people doing on a Friday at noon? Probably having lunch or then heading back to work. So that's fun. Yeah. Sometimes my wife will tune in on her lunch and she'll say, "Show the dog. No one wants to see you." So, but it's neither here nor there. So what I was saying, about working hard. I think that, even with best intentions, you get there and it's like, here's something I was going to say. So I don't know if you saw in the news the bill that they just signed to avert the shutdown. Did you see this?
I saw that they signed something. I didn't see what the actual...
It's like 1,100 pages that they released it in the middle of the night and then voted on it the next day, which I will not vote anything that I don't have... Even if it's something I think I agree with, if I don't have time to read it, I'm not going to vote for it. Because the devil's always in the details. And of course your committee's going to tell you, trust us. It's good. And then that's how you end up with all this, the most nefarious, like, corruption ends up coming in that form. It's some line, on page 723. It's like, what? I thought that was crazy. There's a lot of politicians. Like, I really like Dan Crenshaw, who's a young up-and-coming guy with the Republicans. He refused to vote for it. He was like, no, I didn't have time to read it. I'm not going to vote for it. I don't understand. There shouldn't be one bill that we're passing that's more than, like, 5 pages. Like, the idea should be, me and you should be able to go wherever and get a copy of the bill and be like, okay, this makes sense. Look at how, clear, for example, the Constitution is. And we literally have majors arguing about the nuances of this word versus that word. So if you have an 1,100-page document just on, like, our omnibus spending bill, like, what do you think that leads? Like, it's to me, it's absolutely ridiculous. It's another thing that needs to change,
Yeah.
But it goes to show, I think, further for a lack of transparency. 1 second here. I'm going to make an emergency text to see if Someone can tell me if this is working.
I can try to bring it up too.
Well, maybe I could bring it up my phone. That might. Who knows though what that'll do because it's my own account.
I'll bring it up here.
If there's downtime, anyone watching this, I apologize. Or if you're watching in retrospect.
So I don't have sound right, but it doesn't look that choppy to me.
But it's working?
I'm not choppy, but you look reasonable from what I can tell.
Okay. Well, just let me know if you can. So, all right. My
Somebody
friend from
there
high school says it sounds
all right.
Good.
Can you see the comments?
Yes, I see that comment.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, it just must be slow on my name because
you're running everything in the world on your computer.
Yeah, because newsflash, that like one of the things I'm running on is you get to Washington and you have this bubble, right? And you see Washington, it's not just a rich area. It's also very unique in that all of the economy of Washington is based around the political system. They have every incentive for the political system to get bigger because it's a notification. Because that's how they're going to make their money. Even if you're a bartender, you're probably serving people that are involved, staffers, politicians, things like that. And so you forget what it's like to be the average constituent in the district. You know, we're talking District 12. You know, the median income's lower than the country and lower than the state. Most people, but people aren't looking for a handout. Most people are just like, that's reality of life here. The cost of living's lower. You make less money. That's okay. But you're in Washington, you forget about that, you know, or even if you're someone who's running, I'm not saying you can't be wealthy and run. I mean, in my opinion, I think Trump's done okay of at least having overtures to the working class despite being a billionaire. So it's certainly possible. But, you know, you sometimes wonder if people get disconnected. And I know what it's like to live paycheck to paycheck. I know what it's like to only be able to afford a crappy computer that you can only have one program running at a time, you know. So, but we get the job done with it. We'll be all right with it. So we'll power through. We're doing all right. Thank you for the people that are watching, though. Now, it was my hope. I know that most of the people that will watch will probably just be people that know either of our Facebook page or my YouTube channel. But I really was hoping we'd get some conferees, you know, that maybe would ask some questions. I thought that would have been nice.
It's probably more likely that they would watch a recorded version of it, is my guess.
Yeah. So that's fine if that's what happens. So like, why am I running? I guess would be like something that we'd talk about here. The number one reason I'm running is because I feel like average people like me and you, like our voices aren't heard. The guy, like, you have to understand, like the people I'm hanging around every day. It's funny. Like, let me give you an example of the family I come from. My mom calls me Rain Man because she thinks I'm like some kind of weird genius. And do you know why? It's not because she doesn't say that because it's like, wow, you just said something really smart. You know why she says that? Because I read. So she'll get me like a book for my birthday and be like, oh, this is for Rain Man, reading books. I'm just like, yeah, I guess, Mom, you know. But now she reads too, but only like the Twilight books, you know. But it's funny. The average person around here is like a farmer, or a welder, or, you know, whatever, stay-at-home mom or a nurse or stuff like that. And it's like, you never hear their voices on the media. You don't hear their voices in Washington. And it's just, you know, over and over, like, you know, you start to see, even on the left, I feel it's the same on the left. Like, you saw, like, Occupy Wall Street and why there was such enthusiasm for someone like Bernie. Even though I disagree with Bernie, you could understand, you know, they label it negatively, like populist. Well, to me, that just means the average person's tired of not having their opinion heard, you know?
Yeah.
How many people wanted the banks bailed out in 2008? No one. Yet that's what happened. Well, why is it? And I remember seeing this funny picture where it was like, McCain wants to bail out the banks. Obama wants to bail out the banks. And then it had 4 like other pictures of like the Constitutional Party, the Green Party, the Libertarian Party. And each one of them was like, does not want to bail out the banks. Yet the media tells us that there's, you know, there's a consensus, must bail out the bank. Well, yeah, with those establishment parties. And that's the problem. Now, I do think that it's worth to talk about the differences of Republicans and Democrats. And there's a reason that I'm Republican. But I do think that at the establishment level, I don't mean maybe you as the individual voting Republican or Democrat, or the guy in your community, or even the guy that's representing you in Washington. Maybe they're decent too, or lady, I guess. But the establishment people running it, I think their number one agenda is to kind of keep power And they know the Republicans and Democrats kind of have an agreement that's like, we don't want anyone rocking the boat. That's why Bernie got the boot in the Democrat primary. That's why Trump's gone after so hard, And so that's why I'm running, because I'm just like, okay, maybe I have a big mouth. I'm always talking on YouTube or some blog, but you always get some smart aleck. It's like, what are you doing about it? Just some internet warrior? It's like, all right, you're right. I'm going to run for office. That's what I'm going to do. And yes, we're fighting a big uphill battle. I think we both know that, like, if we're honest. The chances of us winning, maybe not the best, but we're playing to win, and we're assuming, every action I think that we're taking is assuming we're going to win. We know that maybe the chances of that happening aren't high, but that's how we're approaching it. We don't have,
schedule as to what we expect to do once the nomination occurs, right? I mean, we have whole plan. Like,
I would be surprised if any other candidates release that. We literally have came out where we
certainly expect that none of the newcomer candidates at least have done.
Right. And so that's so we know it's an uphill battle, but that's why we're doing it, because it's like, you feel like at least someone should do something. And I feel the same way. I say this about even if you disagree with me in politics, get involved. If you don't have the time or, the specific skills to run, right? Well, then just get more involved by getting more informed of who is running, or, things like that. And I think that's true of if you're on the left or the right. We could have reasonable disagreements. I'm going to advocate the policies I'm advocating. I'm going to defend the Republicans because that's the group that I'm in line with. But you could respect that people have genuine concerns for real people and just have different potential solutions. I might think their solutions are wrong. They might think mine are wrong. But that's the type of people we need. I think we end up with people let's take Nancy Pelosi. Maybe she got in, I always try to assume the best of intentions. Let's assume she got in and was very well intended. But you're there for 20, 30 years, and at that point, you've lost sight of why you were there, and your entire agenda is like, how do I get reelected? How do I get more power? And it's like, I don't know what that's doing. I almost respect, even if someone like that agrees with me, I would rather have someone that disagrees on issues, but I could say, there's a genuine person. That's a person that actually cares. They're listening to their constituents. They might disagree with me, but I could tell. And I think that's the way most people are in real life. We all want to solve the same problems. We don't want people to be poor or sick. If it was up to all of us, it would be utopia. Everyone would hey, we all have nice houses and great jobs and, this, that, and the other. But clearly that's not reality. It's not going to happen. And we need to have decisions on how to get there. So we need to, now there are people that are such extreme on both the left and the right, that don't agree, they don't agree exactly. And but we can't leave those people dominate our discussions. That shouldn't be. So that's the first reason I ran. And I think that, you might not agree with everything I say personally. And I know we have other friends that were involved with us in debate and even places I post online. It's one of the cool things. I can't tell you how many places I post online where people that are arguing with me every day. Trump's the worst. What are you talking about, witch hunt? What are you talking about, defending the Second Amendment? Just the wall is stupid. All these positions I have that are literally telling me, what's that? Well, now it claims you're calling me on a Hangout video. Are you there? Oh! 1 second, people watching. I guess Dom disconnected. Dom! Oh my goodness. Let me get him up here. Well, all of a sudden I'm running much more smoother. Yeah, my guest is my campaign manager, Tom Kennedy. I know there are 4 people watching right now. I might have to close down the stream for just a quick moment while I reconnect the call, because we're having problems on one of our ends. Give me just a second, if y'all don't mind. I'm going to disconnect the live stream just for a minute. The other thing... Oh, wait. Never mind. He might have came up here. This is worse than I thought it would be. It's kind of amazing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but this is my campaign manager, Tom Kennedy. He's helping me do all the work, and we're talking right now on exactly what we're doing with our campaign, what the purpose of our campaign is, what our plans are in the near future here. That's the idea. Can you hear me, Tom? You hear me?
I don't hear you.
You can't hear me? Okay. Says it claims you should be hearing me. Okay. I can hear you. Well. This... You can't hear me still? I'm calling you, Tom.
I do not hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you, but...
Oh, okay.
But maybe we could do it like this. I don't know. This is silly. I can't believe that, it just seems silly to me that we're having this much trouble with it. But,
yeah.
Why don't we, 1 second.
I could try to kill it one more time and rejoin and see if that helps.
We'll do that. And if it doesn't work, I'll tell the people, if you're watching, I'm going to be doing a lot. Tom can only stay with me until about 1 o'clock anyways. So if we can't get this working, what we'll do is we'll just film like a half-hour video that you could watch later that won't be live. And then I'll start a live stream at 1 o'clock here. So maybe do you want to just do that? That's probably the way to go.
Yeah, that might be better. Okay. Oh, wait.
You can hear me now?
It shows you as muted. Maybe you're muted? Did you hit the mute button?
Yeah, I did, but in an attempt to... It won't unmute. Are you still there?
I can hear you on your phone.
Yeah, your video's not working. So we're just gonna... I'll hang up here, and then we'll just film something for half an hour, not live. And let me just say real quick to the crew here. All right, we'll see you in a second, Tom. So yeah, for the 4 people watching, here's what's going to happen. Apparently my technology at this point, either mine or his, isn't working. So we're going to film. He's going to run in an hour. So I'm going to go offline here. I'll be back on to do a live stream at 1 o'clock where I'll talk specifically about a lot of issues. But I wanted to get a video out there because for those, I'm assuming everyone that's watching right now knows me just from my YouTube channel, even before I was running for Congress. But we are busting our butts. Like, we're up until 2 in the morning every morning trying to do this run, and even though it's a big uphill battle, I think we've done really good. We've heard from a lot of the conferees that we've kind of separated ourselves from a lot of the other people, so hopefully if you come back at 1 o'clock, I'll be here, and then you can check that video out. It won't be live, but you can check out what me and Tom have to say. So sorry for the confusion. This is the first time I tried to do something like this. It is not because I don't know, or Tom doesn't know what we're doing, because he's actually very skilled technologically. It's just quite literally that my computer sucks. Like, it must be that. So give me a chance. I'll see you all at 1 o'clock. I have a lot of good stuff to say about running, what's going on with this election, about specific issues people have asked me, and about some of the news events such as the Omnibus bill that just got passed and things like that. So, yeah, I have tried Skype. It might work better. We'll try it again next time. But I'll see you all at 1. It'll be a half an hour. I'll be on. Look for me there. Sorry so much for the confusion.